Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Now, this is what Jesus says on the day of judgment. He says that they'll have people, he'll put the goats on the left hand and the sheep on the right side. Which, that in itself is shows God in everything. Because you got to be left or right. You can be right with God, or you can be left here. God is in everything. But when Jesus is talking about the day of judgment, he says they shall separate the goats and the sheep. The goats will go on the left and the sheep will go on the right. And then he'll judge them, and they'll come forward and they'll say, but Lord, did we not do these works in your name? Did we not do all this in your name? And he's going to say, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. And that's something people need to be aware of, is because, now we're in the hour of temptation, so it is harder than ever. But there's no excuse. There's no excuse for us not to be searching for God. There's no excuse to keep saying, oh, well, I'm too busy. I'm too this. I'm too that. This life is nothing. This life is just here today, gone tomorrow. It's not our real life. We can't keep pushing God aside today and say, oh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Right now, my life is consuming me. Jesus talks about the seeds that are cast. And he says, some seeds are cast amongst the weeds, and they shall grow up, and the thorns shall suffocate the seeds, so it can't produce much fruit. And the thorns that suffocate the seeds are the cares of the world. And that's what I would say 90% of people today, they're the seeds that are thrown amongst the thorns. They get suffocated by the cares of the world. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Because it will come the day of judgment and say, oh, well, I did talk about you, but you did no works. You're not searching for God. It's tomorrow I'll search for God. Tomorrow I'll do this for God. Today, me. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but sometimes it's getting time where, the Bible talks about a watchman being sent to the seacoast. And it says, if the watchman sees the sword coming and he warns not the people, then the blood and the sword comes and takes them, the blood would be upon his head. But if he warns the people and then the sword comes and takes them, the blood would be upon their own head. So now it's getting pushed back onto people watching this, and people, it's time to be accountable. It's time for us to search the Lord. If I was to make videos talking about how to make money, and people see me with all this money, you know how fast it would start trending and how fast people would start sharing the videos and watching. But I'm making videos about God, and people know, they watch, people who know me know that I have a relationship with God, and this isn't for show. This is me trying to get people close to God. But nobody's watching, nobody. And I'm not saying it because I want my videos to go watch. I'm saying because the information is out there. For you to search for God, you to get close to God, there's no excuse anymore. There's no excuse that you're not close to God. And people say, oh, we have faith. Then why? Wherefore did you doubt of ye a little faith? You have faith, but you're constantly worried and you're constantly stressing. That's not having faith. And this isn't an attack on people. This is me trying to get you closer to God. It's time to wake up. Jesus talks about the blind leading the blind, and shall both end up in a ditch. The scribes and the Pharisees, like, surely you're not saying that I am blind. And he said, if you were blind, you would have excuse for your sin. But you are no longer blind, therefore you have no excuse for your sin. This is coming to y'all too. The time is coming that you will no longer be blind, so there is no excuse for your sin. There is no excuse for you not searching for the Lord. There is no excuse for you not making time in your day for the Lord. The works of God is love. Everything is done through love. And you have to start off by loving the Lord. You have to love our Father. If you have no love for the Father, how can you do anything else? How can you have works? A lot of people say, oh, they worship God because they think that's the thing to do because they're afraid of going to hell. That's the only reason. It's because they're afraid of going to hell, so they're afraid. They worship God because they're afraid. That's not showing love, and that's not worshiping God through love. And if you knew your God and you searched for God, you would know that you would love Him. You would truly love Him, and you wouldn't have to be told to love Him. You would already love Him. Jesus says, he that speaks of himself seeks his own glory. But him that speaks of the one that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. Jesus also says, if any man hates his brother, the love of the Father is not in him. There's no way you can hate people and still love God. It's not possible. God is love, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and truth, and love. We have to love one another. We have to truly start doing the works of God. Our eyes are being opened, and before our eyes, eyes being open before our eyes. Our eyes are being open right now. So there's no excuse. If you were blind, there'd be an excuse. If you weren't blind, there is no excuse. There's no excuse. It's time for us to start searching for the Lord with all our heart, all our soul, and all our might. Everything else shall be rewarded unto us. We're being consumed by the cares of the world. Tomorrow will never come if you keep saying tomorrow. It has to start today. All these cares, all these stress, if you search for the Lord, they disappear. I promise you. I promise you, when you have true faith, you don't stress. All the cares and all disappear because you have faith. No matter how bad it seems, you have faith that God will provide. Our Father will be there for us. What man asking us when his son asks for a fish, do they give him a serpent? When you ask God for a fish, he's going to give you a fish. Now they say that we shall be judged by our fruits, No good tree brings forth corrupt fruit, and no corrupt fruit bring forth good fruit. No corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. How are we going to be of God and we have corrupt fruit? Judgmental. Judge not according to the flesh, but judge with righteous judgment. We got to quit being judgmental. And we have to start searching for the Lord with all our heart, all our soul, and all our mind. Love. And if you start searching for God, you understand God is a God of love. And then you'll be so close to him. It's like when people start working out and they get into it, and every day they can't go to sleep without working out. You feel guilty. It's the same thing. When you get close to God and you love him, you're not going to sleep without praying. You love God. You got to pray to him. You're talking to him all day because you love him, and you see God's love in your life. Those people are like, oh, I'm suffering this and that. That's because you lack faith. Wherefore did you doubt of ye a little faith? Peter started sinking when he started doubting. You're sinking in that same lake because you're doubting. It's not because God's not here and God's not offering. It's because you doubt. Wherefore did you doubt of ye a little faith? Start searching for the Lord with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might today. Not tomorrow. Today. When you're done watching this video, have a conversation with God. Love. I keep saying love because love is the fulfillment of the scriptures and the prophets. If you love God, you don't have to be reminded. And if you love God, you find out about faith. You love God and you search for God, you find out about true faith. When you have true faith, you're not doubting. You're not going to scientists and doctors and this. You're going to God first. People want to go to scientists and doctors first, and then when there's no help left, then they go to God. You're going in the wrong order. Remember, Jesus said the whole world shall be deceived, in so much of as possible the very elect. The whole world. Don't think that's not you too. The whole world. The Bible says, he who seems to be wise in the world, let him become a fool so he may be wise. Because wisdom of this world is foolishness of God. Forget about everything the world is teaching you. Jesus says, he that gathers not with me scatters abroad. This world is scattering, y'all. It's trying to scatter us abroad. It's trying to sow doubt in your heart. That's why we talk. Jesus also says, if I told you earthly things, you believe not. How shall you believe if I tell you heavenly things? And I haven't even begun to talk about earthly things because I know people aren't ready. Jesus says, when the Son of Man comes, shall he find faith? We are being lied to. We're being indoctrinated. So when the truth is told to us, we will reject it. He who seems to be wise in the world, let him become a fool so he may be wise. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The heavens and the earth. When God shows y'all what that means, you're one step closer. One step closer. Wisdom of the world is foolishness with God. Remember, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. This is also, this is going to be preachers and priests. A lot of preachers and priests. Because, oh Lord, did we not do this in your name? But they were searching for their own glory. He that speaks of himself seeks his own glory. They're searching for their own glory. And Jesus says they shall be rewarded. They're getting their glory is their reward. You don't get rewarded here on earth and get rewarded in heaven. Do not store your treasure on earth where moth may get to it, rust may corrupt it, and thieves may break in and steal. Store your treasures in heaven. Store your treasures in heaven. We have to start looking past this earth and start looking godly. The first man is of the earth, earthly. The second man is of God. We got to start being of God. Jesus said a man must be reborn in order to enter the kingdom of God. And Nicodemus said, how is it possible? Can a man enter in the womb a second time? And that Jesus says, the wind blows where it listens not, and yet we know where it comes from. Yet you know not where it comes from. So are those which are led by the Spirit. Have faith, y'all. Have faith. Start searching for the God. The time is coming. The time is coming. Jesus says, learn the parable of a fig tree. He said, when the shoots come out and the leaves are yet tender, you know that summer is nigh. So when you see these signs, know that it's near, even at the doors. The time is getting close, y'all. The time is close. We're in the hour of temptation. The Bible speaks about Babylon being overthrown by the kingdom of the north. Babylon is Iraq. That has already happened. We're already in the end stages, y'all. It's time to start searching for the Lord. Put away the cares of this world. Quit being choked out by the fruit, because we don't want to be the ones on the left. We don't want to be the goats on the left side in the last days. And when he says, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Search for God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might, and love is the fulfillment of the scriptures and the prophets. As always, God bless y'all. Have faith.